Hello and welcome to another JoomlaForBeginners.com video tutorial. My name is John, and in this tutorial we're going to continue our VirtueMart e-commerce solution created for the Joomla content management system. In our earlier tutorials we covered installing the main VirtueMart component and setting it up, as well as installing the main VirtueMart module, which you can see along the left hand side. For our exercise we also took the opportunity to install the sample data from the back end. This tutorial is actually part 1 of the VirtueMart global configuration for the administrator in the back end, and this particular topic today is the first tab named Global. As you can see, we're logged on as a super administrator to the back end of this particular Joomla installation. We're going to go directly to our VirtueMart by clicking on the pull-down menu named Components and then selecting VirtueMart. This is possibly the most important part of VirtueMart. We're going to click on Configuration. We'll see a number of tabs here that will allow us to configure each and every element of our VirtueMart e-commerce solution. For our exercise today, we're going to choose the extended layout. I believe it would be easier to view. The first item on our global tab is the shop offline. If we select this and then choose save, when we update our front page, we'll see that we have this error message, or actually our offline message, visible. And we'll simply select one of our categories and see our shop is currently down for maintenance. Please check again soon. And that's exactly what we have. We'll take this mark off and we'll save again. Also under Global, use as a catalog only. This will disable any of the shopping cart functions, and you can use it to show your products but not allow anyone to make a purchase. And back to Hand Tools, and we'll select one of the products. That will show us that there is no Add to Shopping Cart item, although all the description and the prices still remain. We will deselect that and choose Save. We're going to continue by scrolling down to the next item on our global tab called Price Configuration. Our first item is called Show Prices. This is self-explanatory. This is basically an on and off button as to whether you choose to show the prices. The second item, Member Group to show the prices to, if we have this enabled, this allows us to specifically choose one group or multiple groups to show prices to. The groups not chosen here would not be able to view the price on your website. The next item is Show Including Percentage Tax When Applicable. If you have this checked, users are going to actually see the text including X percentage of sales tax if the prices are shown, if you have it checked above. And the last item under Price Configuration is asking us whether we'd like to show the price label for the packaging. This basically means if we're selling 10 widgets rather than 1, and we have one box of 10, then we're selling 10 widgets in one box for this single price. Scrolling down, we'll see that the next item under the Global tab is called Front-End Features. And the first item listed here is to enable content, Man-Bot plugins, and the descriptions. This simply means that if you have any plugins or bots that you have installed and enabled for your items and your content, that you can also make them active in your descriptions without having to type them manually. The second item is to enable coupon usage. That means if you choose to create a secret code of a coupon, this will enable your client, your customer, to put that in and receive a percentage of savings off of their purchase. The next item, Enable Customer Review or Rating System. This will decide whether you would like your customers to be able to review an item they've purchased from you. And after that, Auto-Publish Reviews, you can see, is not chosen by default. It's always best to read these before they're published on your website. And in regards to the reviews, we have a minimum length and a maximum length. The reason there's a minimum length is you want people to actually go the details of why they like or dislike the product. And of course we have to have a maximum simply to save space in our database. And if we have an affiliate program, this particular version of VirtueMart does not have this enabled, so we're not going to cover that. The next item under our Global tab is the tax configuration, and the first item listed here is virtual tax. This determines whether items that have 0 weight, that's whether you choose to put the item's weight when you set it up in the product field, or taxed or not. But this is limited to one tax base mode and the ship to address mode. And secondly, we have the tax mode. We have a drop-down menu and we have 3 choices: based on shipping address, based on vendor address, or European Union mode. Depending on where you live, you will make your selection from here. VirtueMart supports multiple tax rates, meaning if you live in an area that has one tax rate for food, for example 6%, and a secondary tax rate for clothing, maybe 12%, VirtueMart would support you being able to add this to your item when you set it up. And our final item under tax configuration asks us whether we'd like to set the flag to subtract a discount for the selected payment prior to or after tax and shipping. And we'll continue to scroll down in our Global tab. Our next setting is User Registration Settings. And our first choice is User Registration Type. And if we have a drop down, we have Normal Account Creation, Silent Account Creation, Optional, or No Account Creation. I prefer the Silent Account Creation. This allows my customers to register silently without having to go back and check their email address for a confirmation. This keeps them in the spiral down to the shopping cart, and you don't want to lose your customer once they put something in their cart. The next item under User Registration Settings allows us to have the Remember Me checkbox enabled or disabled. This is simply a convenience for your client. And as you can see, the following 2 items relate to silent account registration and creation. Joomla registration allowed, yes. Account activation necessary, no. Must agree to terms of service on every order. I like this. That's just a personal choice based on your particular store. Once you have written your return policy for your particular organization, we'll show this on every order confirmation page, just so your customers always know what their options are when they make their purchase. And here you can enter your legal information. So that's a short version. This is simply text mode. And if you have a longer return policy, you can write it and it would appear in this list of all of your articles. You would simply select it and then you would save your work at the top. Continuing along the Global tab, we come to the core settings, and our first option is to check the stock. If you are using your VirtueMart e-commerce solution to also help track your inventory, when you set up your product, you'll enter how many items you currently have in stock. If a customer decides to put this in their shopping cart, it would prevent them from purchasing it if you were actually out of stock. We also have the option of showing items that are out of stock. I'm going to choose no. Our next item is to enable or disable the cookie check. By default, it is chosen. However, if it's user-friendly, but it can have negative consequences on the search engine friendliness of your overall shop. So please use this with caution. There is a trade-off. The next item is to select a currency converter module. This allows you to select a specific one that will fetch and exchange rates from a server and convert one currency to another. The order of mail format determines which mail format your customer receives for order confirmations. I'm going to choose text. During the development of your online store, the debug mode is an excellent help. It causes a debug page to be displayed at the bottom of every VirtueMart page, which is very helpful in identifying issues. It shows the cart's contents, the form field values, and several other items. And beneath that, limit by IP address, this is speaking specifically about the debug. So if you check this, the debug will be displayed exclusively to this IP address, whatever you type in here. And finally, on our global tab, we decide whether to choose to log the file. If we enable logging, it will allow us to track and do more troubleshooting. This is something that we might choose to do during the creation of our store and use it in conjunction with other tools. But for our purposes, everyday store, we're going to leave this disabled. This concludes the global tab from our configuration, and our next video will concentrate on the security tab.